Hello everybody and welcome to Cinema Savvy. It is myself George and today I'm bringing you a very quick review. This is on the new video game adaptation, of course, Uncharted, directed by Frazer, starring Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg as Nathan Drake and Victor Sullivan. And this is a review I've been looking forward to be doing. I say looking forward to be doing. This is a film I've been dreading to watch. However, I got to see it last night. I did a double bill with Death on the Nile. And this has been welcomed a little bit more than I think some people thought it would, and I'm going to get into that. But before I do, as always, I want you guys to comment below your thoughts on Uncharted, the games, the films. I know this isn't out in America yet, it is out here in the United Kingdom. So if you have seen it, if you've played the games, I'm very curious to know your thoughts. And if you have seen it but not played the game, I also really want to hear from you, because this is a film that's going to be very interesting, seeing the video game fans versus the new fans to it as well, which always makes for I think adaptation something really interesting. So please do comment below your thoughts, and if you are new to the channel, if this is the first thing you've done, obviously we do cover films, we do some TV stuff as well, and if you're a PlayStation fan, there's even a couple of gaming videos from around the time the PS5 came out. So we do have a few other things, and of course Last of Us is coming out this year, so do hit that subscribe button. If you want to know what videos are coming out, please do find us on social media. That is Twitter at cinema_savvy, Facebook and letterboxd.com/cinemasavvy, and we have a link to TeePublic in the description below. But as always, we're going to start off talking about the film and thoughts heading into the film, because I may have alluded to in a few of the videos in the past, these are games that I've been a massive fan of. When the first one came out back on the day in the PS3, all the way up till even a few weeks back when the remaster came out of Uncharted 4 with Lost Legacy, I've always had a lot of fun with these. Naughty Dog as a developer, without getting into too much of that kind of stuff, you know, Last of Us is my favourite ever game I've ever played. I've had quite a bit of... Obviously, I've given this one a lot of stick before seeing it, and I think it's also a lot of issues that a lot of people that have played those games, that are attached to those games, have also had, primarily with the main casting. So heading into this film, I've had the lowest of low expectations. I thought the trailer looks like absolute garbage. The CGI looks atrocious. The CGI looks worse than I actually thought the cutscenes in the games were, especially when you see what they're doing could be done as stunts. I'll get into one of those big ones later, because obviously it's from the Living Daylights as well, which I'll be talking about. But giving my initial thoughts on this film, and I don't want it to sound like as easy as it was, my biggest two issues with the film are the casting of Victor Sullivan and Nathan Drake, Tom Holland, Mark Wahlberg, and this is the fundamental flaw, not of the film, but of the hype for the film. When you have an adaptation like this, you know, again, loyal fan bases, all that, without sounding like those kind of people, a young Nathan Drake is something nobody really cares to see, that are fans, and if they're curious to see it, it's about seeing growth of his character. And this is where I'm kind of torn. I'm not going to do any spoilers as a heads up, but watching this film yesterday, you know, obviously in the trailers we get the airplane scene, which I can't remember from Uncharted 2 or 3, you know, when it's got all the boxes and all that, and they're saying this is a young Nathan Drake film. Okay, origin, he's younger, fine. But let us use this massive plot action moment from one of the games, okay? We've got the mystery with his brother. Oh, that's also from the 4th Uncharted game. So whilst we're going to say we're doing new stuff, we're also going to be using stuff from the games, which I understand. But to me, it doesn't add up. And this is an issue of the film, and that's me heading into the film, talking about it last night. And I would say I was surprised it was quite packed, actually, and may have underestimated how popular this film might be. I didn't mind it, and didn't mind it. I mean, I had the lowest of low expectations. I did a double bill of Death on the Nile. That review is going to be on the channel tomorrow. That'll be me and Chris, and I enjoyed this film more than I thought I would, and I'm going to leave it at that, because, you know, video game adaptations are so awful so many times. Personally, I think it's a medium that if you're invested in a game for 6 to 8 hours, some games hundreds of hours, at a 1.5 to 2 hour film isn't going to do it justice. No matter what you say, what you try and do, you can't get the writing as well. You can't have it staggered or structured like you can with that. And this is a problem I have with this whole genre. And this is why I've not seen The Witcher, I've not played The Witcher, so I believe that is an exception at the moment. But what The Witcher is doing is creating this personal new era where we're going to get these films as TV shows. Last of Us is coming out this year. It's being done by HBO. It's got the original game director on board. It's got the showrunner from Chernobyl on board. It's got Pedro Pascal playing Joel, which is incredible. And that is, you know, every bit of casting has been unbelievable. Of course, like a lot of people, there are going to be people that moan about casting. Oh, it wasn't Josh Brolin, it wasn't Hugh Jackman, but, you know, Pedro Pascal, I'm sold. A lot of people are sold. That's a big name. Whereas with Uncharted, you know, Nathan Drake is meant to be an Indiana Jones type. He is in, you know, he's middle-aged, he's experienced a bit, and when you bring in Tom Holland, and this is, let's take all the spice stuff out of it for a second. He's 25 years old. And, okay, is it an origin of Nathan Drake? Okay, this one's going to be an origin of Nathan Drake. It never feels like he's playing anyone but Peter Parker, and this is my biggest problem with the film, because, ironically, I think it's got a good script. There are lines that are said from the characters that I can see Nathan Drake saying this. I can see Sullivan saying this. I could see a villain acting in this way. But when Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg are delivering them, I feel like I'm watching Peter Parker joining the other guys too. And I would love to watch a sequel to the other guys, but not in an Uncharted film. And this is where I'm kind of conflicted, because I mentioned I enjoyed it. What this film does, it brings in some really cool concepts from the games, and it's really pathetic, but in a game you'll get a puzzle, and you'll get alludes to that in the film. You'll get them trying to work out what's meant to happen, what's got to be done. In the games, you'll get them climbing up on stuff, and you get to see it from it. And from a aesthetic standpoint, Tom Holland's great at that. But then you'll get these Spider-Man moments, the sort of the high-pitched squealing, the slapstick comedy that doesn't work, and you can shut your eyes and you would think, oh, is he in a Spider-Man suit beating people up, having a laugh, having a chuckle with them? And this is where I'm so torn, because I don't think Tom Holland's bad in this film. I don't think Tom Holland's great in this film either. I think he's very average. He's better than I thought he'd be, but I think he's been fundamentally miscast as this character. And we get a cameo from somebody that voiced the character in the games as well, which also alienates the film that you're watching too. So that's something I've really struggled with getting to grips with. And again, watching this film, you know, it eased up some of those issues. But with this adaptation, they're taking things on board from the games. As I said, you know, if you care about the game, you're going to bring in those puzzle ideas, right? You're going to bring in this, the set pieces, the trophies, the gold, all that really cool stuff. And if it shows that they care, why have they miscast the two lead characters completely wrong? Because Mark Wahlberg, I love Mark Wahlberg in films, by the way. I know a lot of people dislike him stuff, his performances, but I've always really enjoyed him being, he also gets very high pitched, very squealish. And I know that he was back in 2010 in talks to play Nathan Drake. And here we are in 2022. Yes, he's 10 years old to play Nathan Drake. He's also 15 years too young personally to play Sully. And this is where I also struggle that you literally just get Mark Wahlberg being Mark Wahlberg and Tom Holland being Tom Holland. At no point do I ever feel like it's Nathan Drake. At no point do I feel like it's Victor Sullivan. And when they've got this banter between the two of them, again, I see Spider-Man interacting with half of the other guys, and I'd love to see that in a film, but not in an Uncharted film. And that's where I've really struggled with this, because, you know, moving on from performances, there's actually some really good people in this. Antonio Banderas plays a new character, a villain. Very two-dimensional villain, but of course you get these in origin of films. I never mind that. And what we really have that interested me is we've got a brand new character called Braddock, who isn't in the games or anything, and she plays like a henchman villain type, and she steals the show personally. Apologies, I've completely forgotten her name, but it's that kind of character that I really enjoyed, and it's one of those where when you're bringing into new ideas that do work, how have you fundamentally got it wrong with the very original ideas? And even Sophie Ali playing the role of Chloe Frazer, who was in the games as well. I think she's great in this. I think she's got great chemistry. She's got good chemistry with Tom Holland as well. She feels like she fits in, but she feels like not getting too attached to a character, but you feel like I see this in a video game character. I see this porting into live action in a film. But I've never got that with the lead to it. And this is what really sort of ruined the film for me, because even looking at the action, I mentioned the CGI mess. The plane sequences, some of the worst visuals I've seen in a long time. And when you think a video game cutscene from maybe 10 years ago looks better than a film in 2022 with the modern technology we have, it's quite a scary thought. But what made this worse is that this is all over the trailers. This is on the posters. This marketing ploy is used everywhere for this scene, and it doesn't work. And it's a really boring scene in the film. Maybe because I've seen it in the game. I don't know. What I will say, I love the fact the film opens with that. and it ends up being the present, and you get to that point which the games always did really well. Again, they're taking some of the stuff that really works from the games, but you got it wrong with your main casting, and the whole adventurous stuff I thought was really fun as well. You don't have to be dumb to realise that these films are essentially Indiana Jones on a PlayStation. And all the historical stuff, some altered history, what really happened, all the intrigue really works really well. And I feel that again they translate some really good stuff from the games, and it made it interesting as a viewer. But the ending of it doesn't work. And even the final scene, I'm going to say this, you might have seen in the trailers the boats being carried by the helicopter. As an action scene, I quite enjoyed that. It felt different. It didn't feel like something I've seen before. It felt like it could be in the game. It's not been done in the games. But that scene worked really well, and that worked as a great final piece. It built up to that moment with the treasure, with all these characters in these environments and what's happening, and I really enjoyed that. But I just feel that this is a film that it's just below average, and am I being polite because video game films are so often terrible, that they're so bad, and this stands out amongst a poor crowd because there are fundamental issues of the CGI, the casting. I don't think the chemistry is there between them either. And I just think they've miscast it. And if someone will say, "Oh, he's moaning about Tom Holland too much," well, I am, because this is a character in a franchise that it isn't like Call of Duty where it's a nameless person running around on screen for 2 hours. This is a character that's had a 4-game series. You've had attachments to him. You've seen him grow and develop and all this kind of stuff. And they just failed to translate that just by picking and choosing certain little acronyms from him and then bringing it into it. And it being an origin as well. Oh, he just picks up a gun holster off someone's dead body and boom, there's the Uncharted character. We don't need an origin for a gun holster, but it feels so forced that they demanded that he ends the game in his costume. And even going back to Mike Wahlberg, we saw in the trailers they do all the joke about the moustache. I didn't care about saying this, that's the credit scene. And it was so obvious that was going to be the credit scene because there was the backlash that, it wasn't Mike Wahlberg, he didn't have the moustache. It felt like a reshoot that had been added in. And I could tell it's that kind of reshoot that makes it into the trailer. And, let's not hide from the elephant in the room, Sony. Sony are the company that have terrible marketing. The posters for this film are atrocious. The marketing's been rubbish. The visuals look awful. From the genius Avi Arad that we must all thank for Spider-Man No Way Home. He's got a producer credit on this, and he's part of the problem once more, as he always is. So there's no Avi Arad thanks to himself in these credits. But maybe there should have been, because this is the kind of film we should expect from Avi Arad. It's a heartless cash grab. There's nothing to it. Sony's got the Golden Boy Spider-Man. Again, Tom Holland was fantastic in No Way Home. But they just want to take that let's take Peter Parker, stick him in this, cash grab Uncharted. We're just going to say we're adapting this game. It's got an established fan base. But at no point do you ever feel like you've got the 2 lead characters from the Uncharted game, the characters that make the game. No one would play Uncharted if you weren't investing in the characters, because it is about their journey. It's their adventure going off with one another. And I don't feel like I get that from Mike Wahlberg and Tom Holland. And maybe I've been too harsh on Tom, and I do think Mike Wahlberg is the most miscast of both of these. But it's just sad. And personally, heading into final thoughts, am I going to recommend this film? Maybe. If you don't care about the games, if you've never played the games, you might enjoy it. You might think, oh, this is a fun film for 2 hours. Personally, if you want something to entertain yourself for 2 hours, go watch Jackass 4. Go watch other stuff at the cinema. If you want something stupid and ridiculous, Moonfall is terrible. There's no review of that on the channel. But at least that's so ridiculous you can be invested in it. Whereas with this is, you're investing in the wrong thing. Maybe if you've got yourself a nice console, go on, download the game if you've never played it, stick 8 hours on, play it for 12 hours, get the trilogy, get the quadrilogy, whatever you want. You can have a lot better time playing that than with this. And that is exactly what you should be investing in. So I'm going to round off with my review for that. It's not the worst one I've seen this year, but certainly when Uncharted was announced as being a film all those years ago, this isn't what the series deserves. They deserve a lot better. And I'd guarantee you right here, when The Last of Us is a hit, they will reboot Uncharted. They will do it as a TV series on HBO in the next 5 years, unless they really want to push Tom Holland sequels. But Sony have a difficult choice now. They've got Tom Holland in 2 of their biggest franchises. They're going to be alternating filming dates. Is he going to make the money to do a second one? We know he's locked in for Spider-Man, but personally, I think this is a one and done. I don't think we'll get a sequel. It teases a sequel, and it teases the sequel being the first game, which makes no logic when they then decided to follow the games after already nabbing the best stuff from some of them. So, yeah, a bit of a weird review in all honesty. As I said, it worked as a 2-hour film. It was better than I thought. But when the bar set so low, you know, it's not hard to get up a few paces. So that's going to round out the review for Uncharted. You know, if you're a massive Tom Holland fan, you'll probably hate this review. I don't care. You can go check out a No Hair review instead from December. But if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. You know, as I said, when Last of Us does come, we'll be covering it on the channel. I'll be making sure of that. That is going to be a massive series. A few other PlayStation discussions as well. So if you enjoy video game adaptations, have a look across that. I think there's even an Assassin's Creed review, although that film was meant to be terrible. And do give us your thoughts again. If you are a fan, comment below your thoughts on this film. Or if it's not out, are you looking forward to it? Are you dreading it? We want to hear from you in the comments below. And it's heading into Oscar season. Now, this film might be at the Oscars next year. It might not be at the Razzies. Maybe it will. But we've got a lot of videos coming up on the channel. Lots of stuff in development. We've got Batman videos going up every Friday as we build up towards the Batman film. We've got Oscar season. There's going to be a review for Tammy Faye up on Monday. Don't Look Up on Wednesday. But we've also got some new releases. Death on the Nile review is going up tomorrow night. That's going to be me and Chris. We'll be live on that one. That was the better of the two I watched this weekend. So I want to thank everybody for watching at home. And we'll be sure to see you on the next one. Take care.